All right. So here we have an immigration debate out of England.
Well, I'd like to hear wee bit more positivity
Go on then.
regarding the illegal immigration.
Go on then. The stage is yours.
Thank you. Well, I don't actually agree with the Rwanda policy, but there is no alternative, James. I'm married to a lady from Asia. She paid to come here. She's nursing. I've no problem with migration. I think the clue is in the word illegal.
No, the cue is in the word asylum or safe route. So
No,
if they
you
don't
can't-
come by the boats, how do they come here?
No, James. No, a lot of those economic migrants come in by the
But
boat.
how do you find out whether they are bona fide asylum seekers or not?
Well, they have to go through, obviously, be looked at. I mean, at the end of the day...
And at the
we
end
don't
of that
have
process, of course, they cease to be either legal or illegal. They are either
But
asylum...
at the end of the day, if it's illegal, it's illegal.
So what's the legal way?
The legal way is to get a visa.
No,
Or
if you're a refugee...
You can go to a British embassy.
If you're a refugee... No, you can't.
Well, yes, you can.
No, I promise you can't. If you've come out of
Trust me.
Afghanistan or Syria, or if you're fleeing from...
We have embassies in Italy. We have embassies
You can't
in
apply for
Holland.
asylum in... I mean, we can sit here all day, David.
Yes.
And remember, you're here to provide positivity. We can sit here all day and you can say that all of these people crossing the channel in boats could instead have gone to the embassy in Paris and applied for asylum. And it never becomes true, however many times you say it.
Well, we have to do something about it, James.
So I'm not English. I don't really know that much about the English situation. But I'm a huge fan of immigration. I'm a fan of open borders. I think that Canada, my country, should absolutely take in more immigrants. Although we are taking in something like 500,000, 1 million a year. I think that it's good for the economy and it provides an opportunity for workers, especially coming from poor countries, to work for higher wages. There's a lot of anti-immigrant sentiment on Reddit and discussion forums in the Canadian public, but I think that's really just scapegoating the immigrants for economic conditions that are primarily the blame of the government and the left-leaning politicians that we elect.
Up safe routes.
Yes. So safe routes, what, for illegal immigrants?
No, safe routes to establish whether an application is credible or not. Because when we do that, it turns out about 70 to 80% of the people apply are genuine asylum seekers.
What, from Bangladesh, Pakistan? They're not in any danger.
But how do you know? You can get killed in some countries for being gay.
You can be killed here?
Well,
We
yes,
have
but
terrible crime here.
Okay.
In fact, there was a lad that died here.
yes, if it was
He
against
stabbed.
the law to be gay, David, you're now talking about a lad that got stabbed, and you're here to provide positivity. So I'll give
Yes,
you
by
another. I'll give you
migrants,
another
and he
chance.
disappeared.
I'll give you another
Yes.
chance to provide some positivity that you wanted.
Well, at the end of the day, I don't see that this government has another alternative from the Rwanda policy. And I think earlier on you
But it
mentioned
doesn't work.
it's got a different government now.
Where's
How
the
do you know it doesn't work?
Well, how many people have we sent to Rwanda?
We haven't sent any yet.
Well, that's how I know it doesn't
But
work.
but if we get the policy through and we block certain, at the end of the day, we have lawyers here.
So this is what they're talking about. Apparently, the UK has a plan to send refugee asylum seekers to Rwanda, that's a pretty crazy. I mean, it's pretty based, but it's also pretty wild at the same time. Yeah, I didn't know you were allowed to do that. I guess according to the guy, you're not. He said the policy would still be a breach of the government's international law obligations. And Immigration Minister Robert Jernick resigned after the bill's publication, saying it does not go far enough to prevent further legal challenge. I mean, we are talking about the British. They used to ship all their criminals to Australia, so maybe this is just the recycling of an old solution.
Who pays for these lawyers? The taxpayers. They're making good hay out
The
of it.
government has
There
spent
seems to be
300
a
million. The
business.
government has spent 300 million pounds of your
Not
money
to
on
date,
lawyers.
It hasn't. Not yet. I believe it spent 140, and I believe there's another
No,
100
no,
million.
£3 million on lawyers fighting the law. And you know what happens when you fought the law, David?
No,
The
the
law
bottom
won.
line is we need obviously amendments in law
Right.
so it can deal with that situation. There's no
Okay.
problem with legal migration.
No, you
It's
keep
the
coming back
illegal
to that, and I'm
migration.
still waiting for the positivity.
Well, the other thing is, you're going about Brexit, and I feel quite offended.
we're not
because
talking
that was
about
a
Brexit today.
democratic vote.
Yes.
And yes, but that came about because the people of Britain wanted sovereignty. They wanted to choose.
No, it didn't. It came
felt-
about because people of Britain wanted to take back control, and they
That's
wanted
correct.
to reduce immigration, and they wanted to improve the cost of living. So how's that working out for you, David, in Hull?
Well,
Let's go through it
with the
one by
current-
one.
with the
What's the
current
current
government,
What's the
with the
current
current
immigration
government-
figure?
there's come immigration figure this year.
Yeah.
It's about 760,000.
And what was it before Brexit?
Oh, I'll guarantee it was lower than that. Yes.
Correct. So that didn't work.
But
How's
we
the cost of living working out for
You
you?
can't tie that to Brexit.
Of course
because
you
look
can.
at
That's what you
happened-
voted
no,
for.
no.
And now you're
Pakistan
offended
is-
that people think you're stupid.
No.
So what's the biggest
Pakistan-
benefit you got?
Pakistan is a country who
I actually think Brexit was the right decision. I know that there's a lot of voices in the media and on the left that have been really critical of the decision, but at the end of the day, you get your sovereignty as a nation. I don't want to be beholden to the European Union. And the main cogent criticism I heard was, well, there's going to be all these tariffs, the EU is going to put all these tariffs and barriers on trade, which, I mean, that's unfortunate if it happens. That doesn't have to happen. That's on the EU. That's really their fault for making those decisions. I mean, trade is good, but I personally don't want my country to be beholden to any greater political organization. I'm Canadian. I don't want to be a part of a North American Union. I believe in decentralization, not centralization. And the last thing you want is some monolithic central government that's got control over policy, telling what you can and cannot do.
23rd bailout, if I'm not mistaken.
Sorry, what's
And
you
at the end
talking
of-
about now? Pakistan?
That's correct. We have illegal migrants coming from Pakistan.
But how you wanted to talk about Brexit?
No.
Yes.
Brexit was voted- No, it was mentioned by your other callers.
It was mentioned by you a minute ago. You said you keep going
Yes,
on about
but
Brexit,
you
and you were going to
said-
say something interesting. What was it?
The interesting thing about Brexit
Yeah.
that was a democratic vote.
Yes, for.
We really wanted. Well, there was a lot of Labour voters.
So what's the
voted for
biggest
Brexit.
what's the biggest win for you? What's been the biggest improvement to your life since you voted for Brexit? As a consequence of
I
Brexit.
didn't vote for Brexit.
Rubbish.
Sorry,
Rubbish.
James. That
David.
You shouldn't. No, James. Listen.
Oh, I am
didn't
listening,
vote for
David.
Brexit.
Well, I
didn't
think you
vote.
did.
I didn't vote.
You didn't vote at all.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
It's a long story, Jim.
I respect them not voting. A lot of people say you can't vote. If you don't vote, you can't complain. The reality is the whole system's rigged anyway, and not voting is just basically saying, I don't support any of you, none of the above. It's not worth my time to participate in this sham. Democracy is just an elaborate justification for the criminal state in the first place. So why even bother going through with the charade?
Then I had to leave. Me and my family had to leave Scotland. We were witnessing the HMRC case. We came down to Hull here. We've gone through the system. It's been an absolute nightmare.
What's the worst policy of your life that a government has introduced?
The worst policy of my life, the government introduced.
There's just so many good choices here.
I haven't seen many positive. To be perfectly
we were
honest
supposed
with
to
you,
be providing
I
positivity.
wrote to Gordon Brown in 2008.
I'd
And I
sorry,
mentioned
mate.
to him, I mentioned to him we needed a national house building program.
Okay.
Actually,
Listen, I don't want to
stipulate-
sound... You've put me in a very uncomfortable position, David. It's 10:47. I've got to go to a break.
What?
Can you remember why you rang in?
Yes, because
Go
I
on.
was offended by what I was offended by your broadcast, and you seem to be very.
But what were you offended by?
Well, you seem to go on about the migration. There's a legal
We're
migration.
talking
and
about
illegal-
Rwanda failing, and so what did you ring in
When
to
you
say? The
send
question
it-
is, what's the worst policy that you've witnessed in your life in that get into such a mess over this particular
I'm
policy?
not a supporter of Sunak.
No, but what did you ring in for?
I rang him because I was offended. Basically, I'm listening
Right.
to this all the time. There's no positivity.
No, but
It
you
would
were
be
going to
better-
bring,
it would
you
be
were going to
better
provide some positivity.
Exactly. Where would you send these migrants, the illegal migrants that shouldn't be here? Where would you send them?
But I
to?
don't know that they shouldn't be here until their asylum process has been,
Well,
the
let's say the
application has been
Let's say
processed.
the process. And
Well, then
there are
you can
process.
send them back to their country of origin, and we
No,
could do
can't,
that under the
because-
Dublin
no, we
Convention.
can't. No, we can't.
Well, we can.
There have been no.
No, we can.
There's many have been refused visas. They're still here illegally.
Yes,
and
but
can't
we are
deport them.
legally entitled to remove these people.
No.
Yes,
You can't
Dave.
do something
David, why are
illegal.
we having a phone in from 1974?
This is too great. Frankly, I say legal, illegal, let them all come. Open borders, problem solved. As for shipping asylum seekers off to Rwanda, it's a bold move, but I don't think it's going to fly.